If you believe for 1 minute that you are not, why do we allow our politicians to make laws that perpetuate a society of victims? In your own life? Hey, you're not going to pull that one here. Stop talking. Everything to what you're saying is a lie. You're making excuses for we don't have the luxury to assume someone else is going to say what we're thinking. It's time to walk it like you talk it. These noble words I hear. People, when will we learn? Because you're not doing anything. Enough is enough. Okay, welcome to another week of Talk is Cheap Radio. Hello, Melissa.
Hello, Jason.
We're jumping straight into it because you said something earlier in the week that really resonated with me. Because you have been working with a hospital.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so congratulations.
Okay.
And as a result, you had a breakthrough about 2 words.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not even sure if your breakthrough was the same as my breakthrough, because really you just said 2 words and that was it.
Uh-huh.
And just invited me to have a breakthrough. Okay? So first I want you to share those words with the audience, and then we'll give them a moment to digest what could possibly be the breakthrough.
Okay.
Okay? So go.
First word is caregiver. Second word, caretaker.
Okay. So when you said that to me, I nearly shat myself. William Shatnered myself. Because I had never considered those 2 words in that way.
Mm-hmm.
In the way that it says caregiver, caretaker. Now, we use those words interchangeably.
We do. We
say that, oh, you're caregiver, caretaker, whatever. It's the same. But the energy is not the same.
No.
If I'm going to share my experience, and I want you to share your experience because I know that you had a breakthrough about this. When you said this to me, instantly I presenced a person in the service industry, let's say in hospitality or even in hospital. And what would be the energy difference between someone I would categorize as a caregiver or a caretaker? And the only thing that really jumped out at me was people I know who are caretakers, because my experience of a taker, any kind of taker, is they want something in return. They're looking for a payoff.
Mm-hmm.
A caregiver is someone who serves intrinsically and gives because it's part of who they are. It fulfills their purpose. It's part of the makeup of their spiritual being. But there are people who give service or who are in the service world who expect something in return and get really nasty when they don't get what they're expecting in return.
Yeah, it's true.
And then I started looking at like people's mothers. Okay? I don't want to point any fingers at anyone in particular's mothers, but I know that there is a difference even between, say, yours and my mother in different phases of life. My mom, I think, has gone through phases of being both a caregiver and a caretaker, where, sure, I think she always feels as a mom that it's her job to care. Just to care. But the second word on that I get has shifted through time and history in whether or not she is caregiving or caretaking as a taker. Someone who, we know the type of people who are takers, who just expect something in return, who are investing, who are looking for the payoff. So when you told me this, you were really excited to share this with me. You had clearly had a breakthrough also.
Yes.
So what was your breakthrough on these 2 words?
My breakthrough was kind of what you were just saying about there's 2 kinds of people. And there are those people, like I experience at work, there are people that are so bitter about giving care to people. They will not, like if someone comes late to their appointment, cut them off, they go home, they remake that appointment.
Okay.
There are people that they are bitter about being there at work. they don't want to be there, and everyone is in their way, and this is their job, is to care. And they fight it and resent everyone that they're dealing with, whether it's the patients or other nurses, doctors, anyone.
So those people are caretakers.
Caretakers.
Because they are takers.
Yes, because they give very begrudgingly and because they have to so they can take a paycheck.
Okay, got it.
And then there's the caregivers that truly are passionate about giving and are there whether they would be paid or not. They would be like, the first nurses that were just made a nurse because they were just there giving.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because it's interesting that you say this because I do know people in the healthcare industry, massage therapists and what have you, and it is true. There is a difference. People who are caregivers give even when they're not at work. They are in service. They join nonprofit organizations. They are in the business of serving and caring. Caretakers, they punch out and they're the ones who'll tell you, oh, I give all day at work. Yeah. I am serving others all the time. I just want to come home and relax without having someone ask me for something.
Yeah.
And they are the caretakers.
And it's interesting to look at them. And lots of times I can tell if they're a caregiver or caretaker just by the way they present themselves. If when they come to work, if they've given to themselves and taken time for themselves on what they look like, or they're those type of worker that roll out of bed, put their hair in a ponytail, and throw on some scrubs.
And just to get the job done, and they go home and they don't even care what they look like.
Yeah.
That's true, because they're not even caregiving themselves.
Yes.
It's interesting because I'm sure there are people listening to the show right now who are now putting themselves in different courts at different times of their lives. And it's true, though, that based on how we as individuals choose to step up and show up and care and serve really shows up in every aspect of our life. And there are people who, like, for example, homemakers and mothers who treat that like a job.
Yeah.
And they're really caretakers.
Yeah.
And then their husbands come home who have been doing whatever they've been doing all day and get all over them about this and that and the other, and it's you have to do this and you handle this because I've been doing this all day, and it really feels like a chore to be caring.
Yeah.
Now, I get there are other times in that same woman's life when it doesn't feel like a chore to be caring, to be giving care. And I don't know what's the difference. What happens in someone that they shift from being a caregiver to being a caretaker?
I think it's their well has run out. And so there's nothing left for them to give. And so then that's when they become bitter. And it's like they go from the joyfully giving, and then suddenly it's, well, heck, I really want this person to get better, but I've got this going on at home. I got to go do this, and I don't have time, and I don't have the energy now.
So how do they run out? Like, how do we run out? Because I get that there are times in my life where I felt run out.
Yeah.
I know there's that whole statement, don't tell me not to burn the candle at both ends. Tell me where to get more wax. And you know more people than me just because you're more social than I am, and I don't care enough about people to introduce myself. But you meet a lot of people, and you know people who are caregivers and caretakers.
I do.
What does it take for someone to run their well dry?